Hi, welcome back to Carla Astrology. Today we are going to do the ISFJ. I had to think about that for a minute. ISFJ. So the ISFJ is introverted, sensory, feeling, and judging. So again, with the association with the tarot, anything starting with an I and ending with a J puts you in the queen category. And in my opinion, all the queens are, those are the matriarchs, the mother, the probably more nurturing than any of the other court cards. So the ISFJ is the Queen of Pentacles. So their strengths are with a pentacle. If you're associating that with the Queen of Pentacles, they're obviously going to be very practical, very earthy, hardworking, supportive, and loyal. So very true to their word, and if they say something, that's what they're going to do it. But they can also be resistant to change. So if you're thinking of that, definitely Taurus is bullheaded. Or they could be too altruistic, like they go to the extreme with, say, activism of some sort, like they want to change the world and they go overboard. Which means they could also work too hard sometimes. And that's when they're not, trying to balance themselves. They can also take things a little bit too personal. Like, whether you meant what you said to, whatever you're saying, they could possibly take it literally, or it could be offensive to them. And with that also, these are the people that overload themselves. So, which could be with anything. So I believe that the shape of the hand is going to be an earth hand, which is very like a square palm and short to medium fingers, but also they could have water personality type characteristics. So anything that is feeling, I believe, could have like water characteristics in their hand. So with this being an ISFJ, sensory, I think more instinctual, but the F is for feeling. So these are the people that can also get triggered really easily. So the water hand also kind of goes with that, because they, tend to keep things inside if they're not in balance. So a water hand is somebody with the rectangular palm instead of the square and long fingers. So you can think of a pretty well blended hand as far as shape-wise when you think of the Queen of Pentacles. It could just be, they're very well balanced, so they have, either probably more of an earth hand. I think that the mounts, they will have a large mount of Saturn, and Saturn is right here, because that is where you find the people that are very altruistic. They're the ones that want to change the world. But with the ISFJ, it's more in a practical sense. So I don't think that it'll be the biggest mount, but I do believe that it will possibly stick out amongst these top mounts, because I think that Venus is going to be a fairly good-sized mount in the ISFJ. I think that the moon is going to be fairly sized in comparison to the rest of the hand. I think these might be your bigger mounts. Venus, the moon, and probably Saturn. I think that possibly the moon might have on top of the moon, which is where you find the outer Mars. That's where you find a lot of willpower too. I think that with practicality, you have a natural type sense of will. Maybe a go with the flow type thing, maybe. So maybe the outer Mars would be decent. So as far as like the thumb, let's see, what do I have saved for the thumb? So with it being an earth type, the thumb could have a square tip. And these are the people because they're realistic, they're sensible, matter of fact, and have a very good sense of right and wrong. The only thing that would make it possibly maybe not so square and maybe more conic is if they are more in touch with their feelings. You know what I mean? If they're with that practicality comes somebody that doesn't get too emotional sometimes. So, and I also think that the overworkers, you know, the people that haven't learned how to balance the work life and the home life and all of that, I think you might see more of the people that with the spatula type, you know, just a little bit wider on the end. Now let's get to the lines. So with all the queens, it is in my opinion that the heart line will be curved. Maybe not extensively, but a little bit. I do believe that it will point more towards Jupiter or right here. I think a lot, excuse me, I think a lot of queens are probably protected with the heart. So you might see squares. You might see squares there. Sometimes they look like a diamond, but I do believe that you will have squares. And I think that the headline is going to be, I don't know. I don't think it'll go clear across the hand because this personality isn't so much lost in their thoughts as much as they are in their physical self. I do believe that the lifeline is going to be deep and long. And I think that for anything that might have like a pentacle, like an earth sign. Let's see, did I write that down? Because I was thinking about that. I've noticed a few things with doing this series. Is like certain things are common with, say, somebody that has sensory in their personality type. Those are the people that are instinctual and very, you know, more sensual, sensory. So they're more like in touch with how their body feels and you know, instinctual and more of a physical sense, you know. And so any of the personalities they have that are also in the tarot associated with, I think I put that down. Let me look real quick. Yeah, sensory. Pentacles are also sensory, but so are swords. So, but they're more intellectual, so they don't get lost in the emotional depth of it. So I could see somebody with this personality being very, you know, maybe led by that. So, with that being said, this personality is going to have a very strong, what do they call it? I can't even think of the word. But a strong body, you know. So this lifeline is going to reflect that, and it's going to be deep, and it's going to be fairly long, I believe. And again, it encompasses the Mount of Venus. So I did put these lines of Mercury because I believe that all the queens are healers. So these are the lines of stigmata. So I do believe that you will see these lines on probably all of anybody with that personality that starts with an I and ends with a J. That puts you in the tarot association with all the queens. And then this is a line of stress. And anything with an F or a J is, you're going to see this. You're going to see this line. Or should I say this grid. And because it's in Venus, and Venus is where you find, you know, your sexuality, you're generous, your physical self, your vitality. So whenever you're out of balance, and it happens to the best of us, this is where you're going to see that grill. Let's see. I think that's about all the notes that I took on this one. And I just wanted to share with you with some of the things that I found that were kind of similar in depending on whether you have an S or an N, you know. So that was the ISFJ. And next we are moving on to the Knights. And so the Knights are anything that starts with an E and ends with a P. So if that's you, stay tuned. All right. I appreciate everybody showing up and watching my videos. And if you're new here, I hope that you like this, and I hope that you subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.